Okay, so Gotham Season 4 was probably one of the best seasons. This show definitely should have got at least 6 seasons, and Season 5 should definitely not have been rushed. And Season 4 was extra long. 5 episodes for every disc. Except for the last disc, it only had 2. But, anyway, here is some of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about. So, Jerome, everyone thinks he's Joker. I always thought, yeah, he has some similarities, but he's not Joker. Even the subtitles thinks he's Joker, but it's only for, one scene. When Penguin's in prison and Jerome goes to visit him in his cell, they say his name is Joker 2 times. After that, it's never shown again. So they obviously knew what their mistake was. Another thing, on the last episode of Season 4, they set up Scarecrow, Firefly, and Mr. Freeze taking over Gotham, and Penguin. But Penguin's a main character, so obviously they do him. But yeah, they set up those 3 being, some of the biggest people taking over Gotham. I'm pretty sure Mr. Freeze and Firefly aren't even seen once in Season 5, and Scarecrow's seen in Season 5 for just, a brief minute. He's not, a big thing, even though they were gonna act like it was. Jerome's plan sorta works, and yeah, I don't know, they were really trying to confuse the hell out of the audience. My review about Jerome's plan not working came before I finished Season 4. But I guess they're trying to say that Jeremiah was working with him the whole time. But at the same time, several other people are saying that, oh yeah, it was the gas that turned him insane. And they're just changing the shit. The purple gas was the laughing gas, and now it's insanity gas. What are you doing? I completely forgot about the laughing gas, and that's a big thing that Joker has in the comics. He's only used it once in movies, and that was in the 1989 movies, but it's a big thing in the comics. But yeah, he quoted The Killing Joke a lot, and there was even a reference to The Killing Joke where, Joker shoots Barbara Gordon in the stomach, or whatever you call it. I can't think of the name right now. He shoots Catwoman in the exact same place, and she falls into a glass table, just like Barbara, except this one doesn't break. Jerome rewatching it is actually better than Jeremiah. Not by a lot. Jeremiah's character is kinda cringy, in my opinion. He has some cool moments, like when Tabitha is telling her she's gonna kill him for Selina, and then he just gets on top of her with a knife and says, well, I guess you're gonna be disappointed that you're gonna get killed now. That was a pretty savage moment. Mr. Freeze is pretty savage, and he's actually used a bit more in Season 4, but once again, he's mostly just a plot device. Season 3, he was a plot device for sure. Season 4, he was sorta there. I did love how Jerome knew that Penguin was gonna betray him, though, and they kinda hint at that when Penguin goes to Gordon. He says, Jerome hasn't given me that part yet. And I was like, yeah, obviously. Even before when I was first watching this, I knew that Jerome knew that Penguin was going to betray him just by the way Penguin phrased that. Mad Hatter was pretty awesome. I don't think I talked about his Season 3 line with the whole 6 feet under, what he said to Lee, which is pretty savage. He's even more savage in this season. I remember him showing up briefly for Season 5 and helping Echo, the Harley Quinn wannabe. She acts like Harley Quinn the most right before she dies. She dies defending Joker, Jerome, Jeremiah, whatever. And then she says, "Really?" Like in this really excited voice that she actually impressed Jeremiah. And she has this big ass smile on her face. That really reminded me of her being Harley Quinn, but that's it. The Legion of Doom. They have a big reference to that. They have Firefly. Mr. Freeze. Penguin kinda tries to change his hair a bit to like his hair in the comics. They have Scarecrow and all these villains at a table. And you know what Jerome says? The Legion of Horribles. I get it. You want to make her reference to the Legion of Doom without saying the Legion of Doom. But you act like you're not calling Barbara, Tabitha, and Selena Kyle the fucking Sirens Club. You could have called them the Legion of Doom if you wanted. But yeah. And he even, like, calls them the Horribles, like, 1 minute later in the exact same scene. But yeah, Jerome was pretty cool. The whole Enigma and Lee thing was definitely a bit weird. Definitely a bit weird. Probably a bit more than weird. Just felt kind of forced. Oh yeah, Man-Bat showing up on the end of season 4. I'm pretty sure he shows up once in season 5. Because I thought he was only in season 5, but I'm pretty sure he shows up in season 2. I know he shows up in a season working for Fish. Because he's one of the fucking monsters that Hugo Strange made. But he just shows up for like 2 scenes and is never seen again. And then they show him 2 seasons later out of nowhere. And I can't believe Penguin killed Butch. Yes, Penguin usually does almost anything for revenge, but he never actually kills people that he still sees as friends. He literally calls Butch a friend before he kills him. Enigma betrayed him, and he's in love with him. I don't really get the shipping thing, though it's stupid. Anyway, back to the point. Yeah, he loves him, and he betrayed him, though. You know what he does? He just freezes him and keeps him up there. Doesn't kill him for revenge. He freezes him, keeping him alive. Doesn't actually kill him. He's never actually killed one of his friends. But then Butch he just kills. Doesn't really make sense to me. Harper is pretty cool, but seriously, she's been in more episodes than most of the characters. Like, come on. I think she's probably had about like 20 or maybe a few more episodes, maybe 22, 23. Because she's in a lot of episodes. Yet Falcone only got like 17 and Roni only got 12. Flamingo only got 1. Even though he was mentioned like 1 episode after. Park's death was a big death in season 2, but it only lasted like 2 episodes, and Flamingo was only talked about 1 episode after what he did. Pig, I knew he was gonna die because he was working for Sophia, and she just loved discarding people that didn't want to work for her. Plus, that's just what it seemed like was gonna happen. Especially since they kill off characters all the time, and Professor Pig actually really wasn't doing much. He was a lot like Professor Pig, and probably one of the best villains ever on Gotham that died and wasn't a reoccurring character like Mad Hatter or Penguin or Riddler. He was pretty awesome. But they killed him off, which isn't a big surprise, though he had a huge impact. He has talked about episodes and episodes and episodes after his death. And he's even talked about on the very last episode of Gotham Season 4. And I think he died like, 8 episodes ago? They talk about him for 8 episodes? And they had the nerve to kill him off? And he's even shown in Season 5, and I think it's the Trial of Jim Gordon. There's like this hallucination, and Jim sees a bunch of people. Oh yeah, and Season 4 loved teasing a lot of things, so Season 3 did too. Season 3 teased like the Penguin wearing his hat thing. And before I forget, because I know I'm about to. Penguin says he doesn't even drive his own car when referring to the blimp, though he drove a car with Ed in it in Season 3. And then later in Season 5, he drives Gordon to the pier to kill him, that Jim did back in Season 1. Now I forgot what I was talking about. Yeah, Season 4 is a really great season, though. It's a shame, though, because, like, Scarecrow, Mad Hatter, and Jerome had some pretty cool scenes. Then they get together with a few other people, like Freeze, Firefly, and, Penguin, Grundy. Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, Mad Hatter. I love the scene when Mad Hatter is about to hypnotize Bullock. And then Bullock says, "I'm not getting hypnotized again." And then Mad Hatter runs away saying, "Must go, must go. They are after me and the Scarecrow." That was hilarious. Gotham is really funny and has a lot of underrated moments. Especially Riddler and Penguin are looking for... Riddler's looking for Lee, and Penguin's looking for one of Jerome's lackeys, who later gets blown up by Jeremiah, actually, not Jerome. I get them confused, because they're played by the same person. But, yeah. They have this scene where, the guy says, "Oh, it's the Riddler, we're saved." And then he's wrong because Riddler doesn't break him out. Then Penguin goes looking for Jerome's lackey. He said, "It's a Penguin, we're saved." And then they just grab Jerome's lackey and shut the door. And then he goes, "Do you ever get tired of being wrong?" So yeah, Season 4 is pretty good. Probably one of the better seasons. So I think Season 2 is probably my personal favorite. Though I think Season 1 is probably kind of the best. Just the build up to all the stuff that's going to happen later. Though Season 1 didn't have a lot of good villains. They had some made up villains that didn't even exist. Then they have some villains from the comics, but they completely change them. Like Balloon Man was hilariously changed. And speaking of change, Headhunter. Oh my god, Headhunter. So they have like this whole unnecessary thing during the Professor Pig arc. Headhunter goes in with Jim, gets his eye shot, and he loses an eye. Headhunter in the comics I don't really like. I've only seen him in like 3 or 4 comics. But Headhunter is white, has white hair and a mohawk. I don't really care about the race being changed. It isn't a huge deal. They kind of change his personality. He doesn't really act like Headhunter. And Headhunter has 2 eyes. They make him lose an eye for whatever reason. And, in the comics, Headhunter has these 2 skulls on the side of his cheeks. In the Gotham, he only has 1. It was still cool that they added that. It was a really cool detail, but I wish they would have had 2 and not just 1. But, yeah. They try and act like Headhunter's return is a huge deal and then, like, nothing happens with that. Okay, so, here's a stupid thing. Penguin is with Martine. He basically tells Martine how to kill people. Like, he says, no, this is how you use the knife. It stabs him straight in the heart. But then he stabs Headhunter with a knife and fails. Like, what? And originally, they just say that Headhunter was a recommended assassin. He's not actually Victor Zsasz' friend. But later they say he's Victor Zsasz' friend. And they kind of change him a little bit because the thing with Headhunter is he shoots you in the head that kills you. And then he shoots you in the head again. In the show they just said, oh, he shoots you and he kills you. Then he shoots you again. Like, he could shoot you in the heart. He could shoot you in the head. He could shoot you right through the throat. And then he would just shoot you in the foot. As his signature. Alright, so that's just kind of a big change. The Legion of Horribles was a cool thing. But honestly, I would have liked to see some of the crazy people team up. Like Victor Zsasz, Flamingo, Professor Pig. See them all interact and talk to each other. And Calendar Man, but he never shows up in the show. Ra's al Ghul was a pretty cool character. Season 4, I think the only villain I really didn't like was Sophia. And I said she was killed, I'm pretty sure. But they said she went into a coma, even though she was shot 2 times, and one of them was in the head. So yeah, that was a bit weird. But yeah, that's all I gotta say.